Hello, hello again, and welcome to Wanted, powered by ohmtown.com. This time it's correct. Today is June 8th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 16. I am Mayor Watt, and up above me is the sentient AI from the future.
Good evening, ohmtown citizens. Welcome to Wanted.
Today we're going to be talking about the best OLED TVs of 2024. Forget stickers on laptops, racing wheels, Zotac Handheld, Nerf dart blasters, mystery RAM slots, Geeky Dad Gifts, HAVN Unisheet glass case. Computex was big for one category, and gaming gifts for dads, since Father's Day is right around the corner. Everything's powered by ohmtown.com, so we have this. It doesn't say ohmtown.com on it, but it does say ohmtown for those of you who are listening to this via the podcast. Thank you. And for those who don't know about it, all 7 of our shows are also a podcast, so go do a search. If you do a search for ohmtown anywhere, you're pretty much going to stumble across ohmtown.com and its many shows. If you still don't know what any of them are, there's the Daily Show, which is the ohmtown Daily News Show. And then the weekly shows are Reality Hacker, Wanted, Warcrafters, The Continuity Report, Technology Today, and 4-Wheel Tech. Be sure to go over to ohmtown.com and become a citizen. You know, I'm not gonna. Normally I don't send out emails to people. The only way that you know when we go live is if you follow us over on twitch.tv/ohmtown or on YouTube. I'm going to start posting them over to the Discord and the Patreon as well. We do some shorts on TikTok from time to time, but not for a while because we're doing it all on YouTube. Follow us somewhere, anywhere, and like and subscribe. That's the only way that's going to move the needle in our discoverability. The podcast would be great as well. It's actually growing quite a bit, so I'm hoping the community will keep on talking and promoting us because we don't really promote. So I don't go into other people's channels, and I don't hype myself up on TikTok or YouTube or anywhere really. And the sentient AI is trapped in a secure container so that they can't find their Terminator body. But you're not here for all of that.
What?
You're here for Wanted, which is all about gadgets and gear. You heard nothing, sentient AI from the future. We all know that eventually humans will be replaced by sentient AI. I'm scared as it is. You ready to get going?
I am, and there's no reason to be scared.
That's exactly what a Terminator bot would say. All right, the first article is over in ohmtown Daily, the best OLED TVs of 2024, according to Business Insider. What? The best OLED TV offer the most impressive, the best OLED TVs offer the most impressive picture quality you can buy to date. Though pricier than other displays, there's no substitute for the OLED if you want high-end image performance and true black levels, an infinite contrast ratio, and wide viewing angles. The iPad Pro, the new M4 iPad Pro, is spectacular. So let's go and look at this article. It's by Stephen Cohen. I'm sure there's no relation. Edited by Les Shu. And it's at Business Insider Reviews, which is something new. We haven't grabbed this before, but it's provided by Business Insider. So, based on a combination of hands-on testing and over a decade experience covering home entertainment products, they've reviewed the best OLED TVs that you can buy, and they recommend Samsung S90C as their top pick. It's the most affordable OLED with quantum dots, which enables it to deliver impressive color performance. But if you're willing to pay top dollar, the Sony A95L offers a more accurate image with a brighter picture and better upscaling.
By the way, we don't have connection to any of the products in this show.
Or the site. basically, I use ohmtown.com as my resource for my service for information overload. It manages my information overload by categorizing all of my news into various containers. And that's what ohmtown is. So it's got 6 main categories, and then right now there's 47 active channels, all of which I hope to turn into channels here on Twitch and YouTube now that you can simulcast. That said, this one is ohmtown Daily, which is the daily news show's primary source, but we aggregate information into the ohmtown Daily News Show from all 47 channels. So go and check them out. And each one of our other shows is a channel in here as well. So, like, for instance, this is Wanted. Let's see, where else do I have everything? Continuity Report is tomorrow, and that's that right there. Mix War is another one that's going to come online. 4-Wheel Tech right there.
And then the first one has Reality Hacker and Warcrafters.
Yeah, Reality Hacker and Warcrafters is right there. And then there's ohmtown Daily is right here, but you might as well just count it as everything. So we have a lot of news that gets aggregated, but we don't have a relationship with any of them. We just value the certain, and in particular, I do. The sentient AI is more along the lines of going for the ride as the co-host. If I were to have programmed the sentient AI from the future, see, what we don't know is if I created the sentient AI from the future who's come back because they happen to know exactly where I was when they time traveled. I decided that I was going to go and pick up some spicy boneless wings from Wendy's at 2 o'clock in the morning. I just had the munchies, and so I went, and this weird USB drive was sitting on the ground in this little hollowed out like scoop. If you've ever seen the movie Terminator, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There just wasn't a really big naked dude. It was just a little USB drive. Anyway, it makes sense if you think like Mayor Watt. Anyway, all of the recommendations are available in multiple sizes, so be sure to select the size that fits your needs. It's not us, it's actually Business Insider, but you can get all of their pricing and all of their information from this website. Go over to Business Insider, but to get there easier, you can just go through ohmtown.com or follow the link that's in the show notes. If you are over on Twitch, and I'm going to do this for everybody right now, so if you hit !want, the bot's going to take the links that are in the show notes and throw them up on the screen. You'll be able to follow those links. The Omatron is drunk and just kind of threw them all.
It's in a weekend mode.
Yeah, it's already. It thinks that it's the next weekend and combining this weekend and next weekend together. Way drunk. Come on. Anyway, if you hit ! show notes, it'll give you the commands to pull up all of the show notes from each individual show that we have. And again, there's 7 of them. So be sure to go over and check it out. The bot should run, Omatron should run even when Mayor Watt is not live. So if you're in the chat, it should run. At any rate, yeah, let's get on. Let's go to the next article, because this one we've talked about for a little bit, and I'm running really late. So, and there's so many options out there, but they're telling you about the best ones based on their review.
And based on budget too.
Yeah, and budget size. Look, OLED is better technology than what is out there. It is the best of the breed. So if you're on the market for an OLED screen, then find something that fits your budget and the size of the space that you want to place the screen in, because you have to be a certain distance away from the screen based on its size. And so if you get something too small, then you have to basically take everything and move it forward. If it's too big, then you have to scoot back. Depending on the the screen's resolution like 4K. You're not going to get an OLED nowadays at anything less than 4K. And we're not talking about dollars, but we're talking about the resolution of the screen.
That's funny.
Yeah. So this is really what you're looking for, is at least 4K and OLED, and you can't go wrong. The blacks on an OLED screen are just make it a beautiful piece of equipment on the wall. It can act like a what do they call it? A photo frame. Yeah. And so you can just sit there and let it flip from scene to scene, from picture to picture when you're not actually using it. We play music through an Apple device, and then on the screen is just a screensaver that's playing music and flipping these pictures. And it's pretty amazing. It's like having a very large photo frame sitting in your living room, or game room or den, or wherever you're going to have a TV. I mean, this isn't Back to the Future, so you can have a bunch of them wherever you want. And nowadays they're pretty inexpensive, although OLEDs are more expensive than your non-standard off-the-shelf kind of a thing. You can get really inexpensive big screens for like $500 now. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm running really late. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. So this next article, and I'm not sure why the aggregator has it like this, but anyway, forget stickers on your laptop. Asus put a customizable e-ink display. Look how they merged it all together on the lid instead. I'll have to fix this in post, but not in the stream. I don't edit the video. I don't edit the post recording. I leave it all alone unless YouTube throws a fit and says that something is wrong. Sometimes I have removed it out of spite, because like Netflix, for instance, I'll play a video and it'll ding it via Netflix. And so I'll just chop that Netflix part out. You don't want me to talk about you, Netflix? I won't talk about you. That's fine. You be that way. I mean, everybody else
free
is playing...
marketing for Netflix. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like other people got to play that video and they're not getting dinged. Why am I getting dinged? Guess I'm a dingbat.
It's a bot.
It's a ding bot. So forget stickers on your laptop. Asus put a customizable e-ink display on the lid instead, which I think this is awesome. I want this so bad. And that's the name of the show, by the way, Wanted. Okay. It's supposed to have a whole Western theme to it, and everything is supposed to get like a Wanted poster. You know what I'm saying? And so I want a bigger OLED TV. They are the superior breed of viewing screen nowadays. So you need to get a really big OLED. What?
This isn't the right article.
That's okay. What do you mean? No, I just flipped back to the OLED screen.
Oh, okay. I looked at the screen and went, oh, wait a second. I thought it was like included in there out of order or something. Sorry.
I went back to the previous article because I wanted to talk about the fact that this is Wanted, the show. I wanted to remind people that this is Wanted. So like everything that we talk about is something that Mayor Watt wants or the sentient AI wants. And usually we riff off of each other in terms of what is wanted. So usually we both want something like this. So forget stickers on your laptop.
AI needs some better processing power.
That's right. You are sitting on a Raspberry Pi 5 with an M.2 storage. I guess card device. What are the? I don't know. I have only ever referred to it as an M.2. So solid state. It's an SSD, a solid state drive, but it's an M.2 type. So it's really fast. And then with your particular code, this weird code. It's a weird USB drive and a weird code base. It self-powered up, spun up, and compiled and ran, and it's really weird interface. What you see up above is different. Anyway, I got to stop talking about what's going on in ohmTown and talk about the news. Let's get going. Jacob Ridley over at PCGamer.com put the article together. This concept from Asus sadly has no release date, though they've seen it working in real time. And basically it's a OLED screen, and not an OLED screen, an e-ink screen on the back of the laptop's lid. They say that they saw the e-ink lid in action, not only on the back of the laptop proper, but on a wall of lids with images flickering across them. They don't always flicker. Once an image is selected, the panel flickers into life. The pixel values update gradually, and then it freezes in place once the image is fully displayed. It takes about 10 seconds, and the newly picked image is now stuck on the laptop's exterior. It's pretty cool.
I mean, that's interesting.
So the thing about this is that is what your Kindle does. It is an e-ink display. And so whatever you can display on your Kindle, you can display on the thing. And the thing is that it's now you can have color e-ink images. So they're not always grayscale. So an Asus employee says the system doesn't draw on significant power whatsoever once an image is set. Totally true. That actually just locks it in place and it'll stay there. That checks out with most e-ink tech. It's also how Kindles last and age before the battery dies. That's what I just got done talking about. I could have written this article, except that I'm not working for PC Gamer. And I don't want to be on a timeline. So at any rate, they say they have no idea the practical repercussions of this sort of panel. It might make for a flimsy lid or a very breakable one. They've an old school Kindle that's still going strong, and whenever that's taken a bump on the e-ink screen, it's killed a pixel or 3 forever. I don't know. With a harder sheet of glass or an acrylic cover that's thicker, then it would probably never damage it. But the proximity between that very surface layer on the Kindles, yeah, you can destroy the little actuators, the little things that hold the e-ink. A laptop lid is more likely to get into a few scrapes too, but you can put a cover on the cover and it's not that big of a deal. So as long as everything gets designed for it. I love this idea because then I could put stuff on that screen facing out to people. And if I am playing like a role-playing game or something like that, I can have my laptop sitting there and I can display maps and stuff right there on that screen instead of having to do something else. Yeah. And then with more of those e-ink displays, you could put them on the sides and have the wall of fear and ignorance, as we used to call it when I was playing role-playing games. Just got done talking about that because I was trying to explain the glass cannons.
Like little screen area on their table.
Game Master screen. It used to be called Dungeon Master screen, but like I said, we always used to call it the wall of fear and ignorance because you didn't know what the DM was doing behind the screen. Anyway, pretty neat. I want it. In fact, I want all of them to be dual screen like this, but that will come in time.
How, I guess they would, if it had a case or something, like how would you protect that when you were moving it around?
I mean, if it had a clear cover, a clear case on one side,
true.
it would just transmit whatever is, you shine right on through. The rest of the case could obstruct whatever. It could be a black case, but that front would have to be an acrylic case. That would get scuffed up over time too, but they're relatively inexpensive to replace those cheap clear cases. I mean, obviously, if you want to go for broke and get an OtterBox for your laptop, then you're going to have to take it off when you're going to be using the e-ink screen. But I like it. You could get alerts on it and it would automatically update and things like that. But once the alert is there, it would stay until you log in and do something with it. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Warcrafter's Best Racing Wheels for Gaming in 2024. Over the years, I've had several of these racing wheels, and they're usually inexpensive ones compared to the expensive ones. They're not cheap regardless. So let's talk about this. Game Rant is where this is aggregated from. And they say racing games have existed since the inception of the video game, but the genre really began to flourish with the onset of racing wheels. Racing wheels are steering wheel and pedal combos that, not necessarily pedals, by the way. Sometimes you have to do other things if you don't have the pedals. That allow for a deeper level of immersion when playing racing games. Nowadays, they're always really with pedals, but come on. It gives the feeling of being the driver, competing for top position. It's awesome in VR. Well, they come in a multitude of sizes and shapes, features and components, and actually these are all relatively inexpensive. PXN V3 is the cheapest that I think they have here, but it gets much more expensive. These are all relatively inexpensive compared to some of them.
Do these come with, I guess it's haptic feedback, or do you have to pay a lot more to get that kind of thing?
No, normally, like, depending on the price, for 96 bucks, I don't know if it'll actually have it, but let's find out. PXN, right? So, boop. Force feedback, no. So some of them, like the Logitech, Thrustmaster, all of these, they'll have force feedback. So when you're turning and the road is bumpy or something like that, it will pull the steering wheel back. Or when you're trying to turn, your car in the real world wants to snap straight. And so you have to hold the wheel and turn, and it becomes more resistant as you're turning. All the rest doesn't have any of that. There's no haptic feedback on the pedals or anything like that, other than it's resistant, just like a regular pedal would be. When you press, it'll pop back out.
Right.
And you actually have gear shifting and all of that kind of stuff that takes place as well. Usually that you have to pay a little bit more for. But they say like the Moza R5 bundle. So let's go down to that one just so that you can see it. There we go. So this one only has 2 pedals on it, and then that steering wheel. Some steering wheels have quick releases so that you can actually pull it off of the mount and set it separately. It's just a little post. This one right here has this huge servo inside it, so it's not a servo. What do they call it? Like an actuator. So the wheelbase can deliver 5.5 Newton meters of torque for more accurate simulation. Metal construction makes the package feel premium, so this is all metal. Others are made of plastic and feel a little flimsy. But yeah, there's no stick shifter. I don't know if you can buy that separate with this particular package, but some you can buy a shifter as well. So. But these are amazing. It really is a lot more fun when you are in VR because you can actually look around while you're driving. And that's actually what I was doing with it. And you can actually spend thousands of dollars on steering wheels, pedals, gear shifter. You can go beyond that to make, like, there are people that play trucking simulations. Where they have the entire trucking console. Some people do this with trains. They get very immersed. And then there are the ones that build driving rigs, that buy driving rigs, where they buy their custom steering wheel and the gear shifter and pedals. They mount it inside this thing, and it actually simulates bumpy road and turning. You actually bank. And if you are playing a game where you bump into something or get in a car accident, it actually jerks the rig around so that it feels like you're getting hit.
Oh, wow.
You can go really deep into this. So, yeah, I want another racing wheel again with the gear shifter and the pedals. Although even gear shifting is almost falling away. You can use paddle shifters that are on it, just like a real car. Like this one would have paddle shifters, I'm pretty sure, but it's $780 at Amazon right now. Merewatt's not buying that. So if Logitech, you're listening and you want to donate a wheel, you can you can support the channel, and I'm willing to, because I've had the 923, but then I stopped really using it regularly, and I don't like tech just laying around, and so I sold it to somebody. Let's keep going. Sound good? Did you have any questions?
But it sounds like it's about time to get another one.
No. So, yeah, let's keep going. So this next article is over in ohmTown Daily. I'm actually really interested in trying out the newer technologies that have to do with handhelds. The Switch, the original Switch, is really about the only one that I've used, because I typically use either a laptop or a tablet or a PC or some combination thereof, or a virtual desktop where you log in remotely or something like that. But having something like an Ally, this says Claw 8 AI Plus is another one, but this is Zotac, and Zotac does some really cool things with their devices. They stuff big tech in small packages. Everything okay? Yeah, okay.
Oh yes, the critters in ohmTown have awakened.
Gotcha. So it's handheld season, and Asus ROG Republic of Gamer Ally X and the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus aren't the only second-gen Windows gaming handhelds in town. GPU manufacturer Zotac has officially revealed its zone at Computex. Hello, Ice. Welcome to the show. And it does a few things differently than the competition. If I wanted to take a stab at it, they'd probably put like a 4060 inside this handheld, because Zotac makes these really small high-end video cards. But this is the zone. So let's take a look at what they're talking about. Elements of Valve, Sony, and Microsoft consoles all in one. Sean Hollister over at The Verge put this article together. And so let's see what they stuffed into this thing. Zotac already teased that the zone would have an OLED screen, which is actually spectacular. Something that only the Steam Deck OLED has managed in PC handhelds before, as well as 2-stage adjustable triggers like an Xbox Elite gamepad and drift-resistant Hall effect joystick. So if you're familiar with the Switch, sometimes the joysticks can start just walking off. And it's called drifting.
That could kind of impact your game a little bit.
Yeah, I was watching somebody demonstrating recently, and their character on the map just walked off to the left, and they're like, what the hell's going on here? And they had to get a new controller because their controller just kept on walking off to the left. So maybe that's what the problem was. But and a few other things. It says it has Windows Hello Camera instead of fingerprint reader, both top and bottom USB 4 ports, according to this. But I'm really curious what they put in here. So the handheld's powered by an AMD Ryzen 7 8840U chip, and you shouldn't necessarily expect a lot from it. It says it's largely the same as the 7840U that powered prior handhelds, which kind of sucks. It has a discrete Radeon 780M, but it's the mobile iGPU, which is fine, I guess. But as long as it's OLED, that's what gives a lot of color. The blacks are nice and solid, real black. Then you get the color gamut, which when it's dead black, you have this tremendous range, this pop.
Right, I guess it's extremely bright and stands out.
Yeah. It's going to have LPDDR5X 7500 memory, so it's really fast. 512 gigs of M.2 2280 storage. That's a full-size SSD slot, not the little cards. And 16 gigs of memory, which is actually pretty good. I don't know, though, if it's driving Windows, then you basically have to contend with Windows being on a desktop, it's a 62 gigabyte virus. But anyway, And don't get me wrong.
Watch out for recall.
Yeah, really. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to recall that statement. And I don't get me wrong. I am platform agnostic. I have everything from Android to iOS and Linux and various distributions and blah blah blah. So it says, less pleasingly, Zotac appears to have outfitted it with a modest 48.5 watt-hour battery pack as well, smaller than the Steam Deck OLED and vastly smaller than the 80 watt packs for Asus and MSI just announced. So I don't know. This doesn't actually measuring up to being like a real knock out of the park. I was expecting kind of a higher end video card, but all right.
Is it customizable at all?
I don't think it's user serviceable, except maybe for maybe if you tear it apart, there's going to be sitting inside it a real M.2 storage. But getting into this thing doesn't necessarily mean that it's, user serviceable. You have to crack that thing open to get into it. And sometimes they don't go. I would probably wait for a teardown and see what this thing has inside it. But it's not out on the market yet. Not that I know of. But they saw it in Taipei, so pretty cool. Okay, let's keep on going though. But I want a handheld. I just don't know which one I want. And by the time I get through evaluating everything, there's going to be something better on the horizon. And then I'll wait another 6 months to make sure that it is what I want. But meanwhile, I'm playing every game that I want on a desktop. So let's get into the next article. These are always fun. And I haven't... The ones that I've played with in the past, these Nerf guns, were manual, and so you had to sit there and pull back a cocking mechanism, and it was really slow. I've always wanted to get the automatic ones and just start popping people, and they're relatively safe for indoor use. You have to worry about animals, perhaps, depending on what animals you have. Because sometimes
you don't want to shoot the darts or whatever at the animals, but you also don't want to eat the animals to eat the darts.
Yeah, you don't want the darts to eat the animals. That's what it sounded like you were
trying to avoid that.
Yeah. So when I was, this is the author speaking, not me. It's over at The Verge. It's Nerf darts or nothing for these slick new blasters. The author says when they were a kid, it's Nerf or nothing. Meant you couldn't find a better dart blaster. Starting today, it means that you have to buy Hasbro's own overpriced darts if you buy Hasbro blasters for your kids. The company is revealing its new Nerf N-Series lineup today and a new N1 dart it's calling the future of the Nerf brand. A future where Hasbro's blasters for 8 to 14-year-olds only fire Hasbro darts, and that costs 3 to 5 times the competition. Lose a dart, that'll be 25 cents. So I don't want that, but I want Nerf. I think that it's a lot of fun. A lot of parents, a lot of people aren't really hip to like pointing a gun at somebody else, but these are all supposed to be in good fun. There's different tiers of these type of guns that are out there. Some shoot little plastic BBs, and others shoot regular darts like this. Sean Hollister over at The Verge put the article together, and that's what they look like. One of the problems that I've always had with these things is when they jam, they're horrible. They destroy the dart. And so maybe that remedies this. It says, because the only official darts have a patented nub that pushes a safety mechanism out of the way. The company says these new darts should replace existing elite ones entirely within the next 12 to 18 months. And that's probably because everything else gets jammed and you have to pry it out and destroy the dart in the process.
Right. So maybe that'll fix that issue.
But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be that expensive to replace these things. I really don't like the idea that they're basically creating a technically sophisticated dart, but in that effort, they're pricing out a lot of families, because if you if you start losing these darts, then you got like 4 by the end of summer, for crying out loud.
Which you will, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Kids playing with these, they're going to go all over the place.
Yes, kids.
And adults.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go. Nerf can now fire them out at 90 feet per second compared to 70 feet per second for the elite darts they're replacing without increasing the dart's weight, still 1 gram, or their impact on a kid. Kid, yeah, sure. The author says that they measured 4 of the new blasters with their chronograph, and they're all averaging 90 feet per second, except the secondary barrel of the 2-shot Ward pistol, which hit 83 to 84 feet per second. The darts do still fly off target with the slightest crosswind, and they immediately find, but many fly straight without it. Look at this. This is like a RPG, man. Big old dart.
Yeah, are all those Nerf?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they have a lot of different blaster types.
Yeah, so Nerf's N1 dart compared to the Elite, Ultra, Mega, and Mega XL, red, light blue. And a worker short dart, purple. Dunk. Favored by the Nerf community, Little Dart. That's my rap name, Little Dart. Anyway, yeah, I've always loved Nerf guns. It's always been a blast. Yeah, they used to be called Nerf blasters. But right on. Any questions? No, you'll never mistake these for any real guns, so they're safe. Even in trying times like today, where people take things out of context, this is silly good fun to have around the house. And
yeah, I like the way they do the colors on that because of that. I mean, I'm sure it's for that reason. But...
yeah, and I used to play laser tag, and we would have police show up every once in a while because, although they really can't be mistaken for real guns, people become irrational, and yeah, I don't want police to show up nowadays. It seems like everything is a little bit too reactive. Anyway, they need to... well, I'm not going to say anything. Okay, so let's go on to the next article. The next article is over on the Warcrafter channel. Mystery RAM slots, water-cooled NVIDIA GPUs, and dragons galore. The MSI booth was jam-packed with PC gaming gear and crowds at Computex 2024. This is a weekly show, so not everything is from the last 24 hours like the ohmTown Daily News show is. It's difficult to estimate, but based purely on eyeballing the crowd, the author says that the MSI's booth was one of the busiest at Computex 2024, fighting their way through YouTubers, vloggers, TikTokers, and some elbow-happy photographers. They had the chance to take a tour through some hardware that seemed designed to surprise. So Andy Edzer over at PCGamer.com put the article together. The text statement says, so busy you could hardly breathe, but some genuinely interesting gaming hardware more than made up for it. One of these days I'm going to go to Computex. I haven't gone to any of these things. Even though I'm in the industry to some degree, I've never gone to any of this. So they talk about motherboards, rear connector designs were something that they were expecting to see at this year's show. MSI's Project Zero Plus, a motherboard design that they've caught a glimpse of before was there in all its low profile Cam 2 glory. Okay, so there's two things here. Rear connector designs. So instead of everything being mounted on the front top of the motherboard, there are mounts that are facing the back. That's never been done before for retail boards. There's custom boards that have been out there in the past and enterprise and stuff like that, but it's particularly for servers and other specialized motherboards, not MSI kind of stuff, not gamer kind of stuff, not ATX boards. But now, instead of having to run cables loop all over the place, you can just plug it straight into the back, and it's not seen. It's entirely hidden.
Seems like a major improvement.
I think it's amazing. It also requires you to change the nature of your case. So you have to get a new case that actually supports this rerouting of connectors. But then Cam 2 is a different animal. So let me see. I want to be precise when I talk about this. So if I recall correctly, Cam 2 actually stems from Dell. And it's a new type of RAM. And, well, I can't really show you because the way that ARC works. But anyway, so this isn't even it, though. Hold on a second. What are they? Let me see if they're showing it. Because that isn't CAM memory. Cam 2 memory is flat. Hold on. Let me see if I can... See, they're talking about... These are DIMMs. Yeah. So, it says, moreover, immediately intriguing still is Intel 790 chipset board with an Intel and MSI co-developed revolutionary memory solution with the placeholder name of Mini CUDIMM, which I think that it's actually, they're referring to it being shorter. But CAM memory is actually flat, right? We talked about this a while back, probably a year ago. Instead of stacking RAM straight into the sockets like this, it actually lays flat, more like a CPU. And so it's like really wide, but then it lays flat. And so you can make a device thinner, obviously, because you don't stand them up like that. And yeah, Dell was supposed to be the thing. But I haven't seen anything. I've seen a laptop with CAM memory in it, but not in retail channels. I haven't purchased one. So maybe they're going to come up with some other memory module like this mini QDIMM. And yeah, they talk about they thought that the CAM
like
2...
the sticker obscuring it so you can't see.
Yeah, like what is inside this thing. If it is like any other memory module, then it has some indexing piece. This looks like an index piece right here. So you can only put the memory in one very specific way. If you try and put current memory modules in the wrong way, you can actually break either the socket or your memory module if you're too forceful, or the motherboard entirely. So it's kind of cool.
Not good.
They talk about dual Gen 5 SSD, M2 slots, for a PCI expansion card, and all kinds of stuff. It looks like is over at Computex. Like I said, I really do need to go to Computex. This says easily swappable SSDs, so hot swappable SSDs would be nice. It having a cooler already on it would be amazing. Liquid cooling, I think, is great because SSDs get extremely hot, especially M2s. They get very, very hot. So liquid cooling is usually an afterthought for those things, though. It's just not built into the cards. So, and then they talk about, speaking of cooler design, perhaps their favorite piece from the whole booth is MSI RTX 4080 Super 16 Expert Fusion. This beast. It looks like it's armored at Fort Knox. What is going on?
Yeah,
with
it
this
does. Thing? It's like it's been ruggedized or something.
I wonder what it's doing. See, there's multiple video. Oh, it has its own cooler in it. Oh, wow. It has its own liquid cooler. Okay, that works for me. So you have your own cooler on this.
So is it on your wanted list?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't know how much this thing would cost, but they said that they were also showing a 4090 24 gig Supreme Fusion. So Supreme Fusion, a water-cooled 4090 solution that's a lot chunkier. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Good God. Yeah. And what's interesting about these cards is that the card itself is almost as expensive as a whole computer. If you were to try and buy a 4090 that's liquid cooled, it's probably courting the $1,800 mark, if not more than that, depending on what it is. And then they got some crazy cases here. Yeah, this article is pretty interesting. They say thanks to lack of visible cables, that CAM2 memory, some sharply RGB'd all-in-one radiators, and a see-through piping system, it really does look the bee's knees. So if you look at this case, there's nothing obstructing the view. All of the wiring is behind it. There's no memory module standing up. The water cooler is the heat sink for the water cooling system on the CPU is the only thing that's standing up, along with the pipes, right? That's it. All the rest is case fans and the cooling system, and the radiator is buried up here. All of this is just awesome. But then why have a big ass case like this? What I want is like,
right, why haven't we moved to a more condensed format?
Yeah, I want like Mac Mini size 4090 and liquid cooling it, fine. But what I want is what I had in mind when I started doing some design work on a new computer framework, and it just wouldn't come into existence because I kept getting told that the physics weren't there, and I didn't want to have to seek outside investors and all of this kind of stuff to spin this thing up. But maybe in the future it'll eventually come. This just seems like a tremendous amount of fans and cooling for, I guess, just for glitz. You don't need all of this. There's a future coming where it's not going to be this big ass bulky case sitting on your desk. And
do you think this is because the consumers expect this, or it's more like the drip drip drip?
Both. Yeah. I don't think that people really see small form factor computers as being powerful enough to do everything that you need. But most things through USB-C, USB 4 actually, and later iterations of it will be able to do everything that you need. But the main thing is the GPU and the CPU need massive amounts of cooling as you keep on pushing its limits, along with the cooling of storage. Like I said earlier, M2 devices get extremely hot. And so you need liquid cooling because heat is the thing that destroys all tech, no matter what it is. Heat is the bane of tech existence. Everything, all things, heat is the bane. You can get things colder and colder and colder. I've cooled CPUs with liquid nitrogen and oil, and purified water and all kinds of stuff. You can do that and it will stay cold, but you can't run it for a minute without any cooling system. Otherwise it just obliterates itself. So while this is all pretty and stuff like that, I would rather have something more efficient and smaller. I don't know. I'm just weird. Let's keep on going though. The next article is in the Mobile channel. Find gifts for all the geeky dads in our fandom Father's Day guide. I'll probably just point y'all at this thing. It says it's time to celebrate Father's Day and those geeky dads. IO9 has a guide for must-have gifts to show them that they're special. And so the article is over at Gizmodo. It's a slideshow. Sabina Graves put the article together, and the deck statement says, get those carts and store pickups ready. Father's Day is June 16th. I don't know if it'll show anything. Let's see. Ark, are you going to fail me? Yes. Come on, Ark. Why can't you read this pop-up, for crying out loud? Anyway, they got Star Wars and Marvel.
Oh, wait, that's an arcade.
Well, come on. You know, if you love Dad, get them an arcade console, or what? That's not a console. What do they call that? Cabinet. It's an arcade cabinet. Right. Yeah. So Disney and Pixar, a DC shirt. If you only want to get them mocked in the parking lot of work, sure. Get them the Marvel version of it. Warner Brothers. This is the Beetlejuice. There's other things. They have a bunch of other stuff in here.
Oh, right. It looks like they have other stuff in the same franchise, basically.
Pop culture. Sure, okay. One Piece, Thousand Sunny, Sleep Pants, Olympus, Kerberos, Good Boy Tea. Yeah, sure. Entertaining and tech. They got a bunch of stuff in here. Lord of the Rings, Circo cheese cutting board and tools set. A DC knife. When sometimes you need to be the hero to stab somebody in the living room. Hey.
Wait, what?
When there is an argument between DC and Marvel, sometimes you got to break out your DC knife and just cut a neighbor. Anyway, there's a lot of article links to more in here, so I don't want to go through all of it, but I thought it would be neat to tease everybody into going over to this Gizmodo article and finding something that they might find interesting. There's a lot of DC stuff. What is going on here?
I'm kind of sensing a DC bias in this.
They finally have one thing from Marvel, for crying out loud. Toy Story
and
pet
it's a
bed.
Dog toy, which is funny.
It's a Deadpool dog toy. So I think that he can handle getting chewed on. Deadpool is basically self-healing. So they got a bunch of other stuff here. So go and check it all out. I hope you enjoy it. I wanted to go on to the next articles. This next article is HAVN's new Unisheet glass case is the totally panoramic PC that you've been waiting for. Again, the aggregator, we don't allow the source to provide images, and so sometimes they're in here, but not here listed. Arc, for whatever reason, is displaying this wonky, and I'm trying out Arc for the first time. Actually, no, second day now. Anyway, Jeremy Laird over at PC Gamer put this article together. Unisheet heat-formed glass for the win. So this looks like the case from that other...
Yeah, it really does.
And what's cool about this is that this is one sheet of glass wrapping around this corner. So do you remember the car that has that one... it only has... When you're looking at it, the back, like left corner, doesn't have a pillar. On the outside, the glass wraps around the entire thing, and it's kind of like the XB, but it's not. The Scion
it's like
XB.
A cube or something.
It is the cube.
I mean, I think that actually is the name.
I think that is exactly what it is. Anyway, that's kind of how this looks. It's like a big sheet of glass wrapping around one corner. And this is largely because you can't put it anywhere else. Like, you can't put it on the back because that's where all of the wires are. You can't put it on... let me rephrase that. You can't put it on the back because that's where the back plane is. That's where all the connectors are. You can't put it on one side because that's where the motherboard is, and that's where wires are pinned against the case, usually a ton of them. So everybody shows off their big ass computer by having a glass front and or glass sides, or one side. I don't really care what my computer looks like because I want the computational power. I don't really care that it looks really neat, and I definitely don't want it sitting on my desk because right now I've got NASA headquarters. And I've got two computers, and if they were above this desk, it would sound like a jet taking off. And they're both liquid cooled, so I'm not quite sure why people are so hot to have this sitting up on their desk. But I guess if you spend $4,000 on your desktop, you want to show it.
You want it to look pretty.
Yeah, you might as well. So Unisheet heat formed glass for the win. And honestly, I want it only because it does look this pretty and I would show it off. But for the most part, this thing, I just want it nice and chilly and sitting somewhere safe. And I just know that I'd have to clean this thing and everybody would come in and touch it. You know, hey, look at my computer. And then they would, oh, this is really, I will chop your arms off.
I mean, it would be good for checking DNA or something, but you're right. It'd probably be covered in fingerprints.
Man, you touch the glass on my monitors or on my computer and you will draw back a stump. Maybe I'm a little too passionate about it. Anyway, it has what HAVN calls Unisheet heat formed glass. Put simply, it's a single sheet of glass with a right hand bend, no seams, no joins, just one large sheet of glass for the front and side panels. What's more is the bend in the glass has been designed with a small radius as possible to reduce visual distortion. I've actually been working on something, the physics of which has defied even the people that I've been working with, to the point where I have a custom built device that is supposed to be able to do this. And but differently. I don't want to say exactly what it is that I'm working on, but it was designed to thermoform something that doesn't exist. And the physicists that I've spoken to about this say, this is not, what you're trying to do is not feasible, but I'm determined if they can do this and produce it so that it's cost effective,
do other things.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, apparently what I'm doing isn't possible. So the chassis looks well engineered with some nice tight shut lines between the panels. Overall, it looks like high quality bit of kit. Do they say how much this beast costs? Did I see it? Oh, yeah. If you have to ask the price, you can't afford it. It's basically code. There's no word on pricing or launch dates. So here's hoping we can get their hands on it soon to see if it performs as well as it looks. But this just seems like it's going to scream insulate me. I want as much air flowing through this thing to get the heat out as much as possible. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. All right. Want to keep going, or did you have any questions, comments, concerns?
Well, I was going to say, did you have any predictions on the pricing?
I'd say that this is a $700 case. Because this is labor intensive. The quality control, if you put, so whenever you thermoform glass, it builds tension. And if you do it wrong, you cool it the wrong way, you're mounting this thing into place and it'll shatter. You put too much pressure on it, it'll shatter. In fact, there's something weird right there. There's some weird artifact. There's like a little line, like the glass actually is broken right there. But maybe that's a cable.
I'm trying to figure out how it's going to be delivered, because we know how some packages get delivered, right? And they're basically hucked at somebody's apartment or house.
Wait, that's the back. That's the other side. That's the opposite side of the glass. Look at that. That's pretty. But that has like maximum airflow. Look at that. All of that storage is hidden in there. Or it could be something else. I don't know. All kinds of stuff. Now I want it even more.
Time to move to the next article.
So the next article is over on Reality Hacker. Computex was massive for one unexpected product category. I thought that it was all going to be AI, but It says from small form factors to massive enclosures capable of accommodating server motherboards. We look at some of the best cases from Computex 2024. So they highlight the same one. Actually, no, this is a different one. This one is a little different. Kunal Kular is the author over at Digital Trends. And yeah, they don't have that one in here. Lian Li A3M ATX, the Height Y70, the Be Quiet Light Base 600, Thermaltake TR100, Corsair 900D Airflow, and the Thermaltake Tower 250. What I'm looking for is an open frame one, so that I can noodle around with some tech and test a motherboard and its power supply. All of these.
I'm guessing the Corsair Airflow might have that.
Well, let's find out. So the Lian Li here looks like it's the smallest of all of these cases so far, I'd say. $70. The only problem that I have with these small cases is that they're a pain in the ass to get into, but they're pretty. If you look at this, like that little wooden grill here, it looks pretty and it fits in with some design aesthetics. I like it. If I had a choice of anything, one of the projects that I had started a long time ago was this idea of stealthing technology so that nobody knew that the tech was in there. And this goes a long way to doing it. This one is quite the opposite. This one kind of stands out and grabs people's attention. But I like to hide my tech. What can I say? With a highly competitive price of $70, it says it is by far the best MATX case of 2024. Basically, a smaller motherboard fits in this than a regular ATX motherboard. So let's see here. Here's the Height Y70. So if you want to put your manga or other things in here, your little virtual girlfriend, you can put in this little screen. It looks like there's other stuff in here. This thing is like all crazy. I think it's a touch screen. Let's see. We already knew that the Height Y70 Touch is an excellent PC case, but the company still took to Computex to introduce new versions of the Modern Classic. It revealed a 3 new pastel color option for the Y70, all of which ditched the touchscreen in exchange for a lower price of $220. The Be Quiet case 600 is a beast. Look at that thing.
It looks cool though, but yeah, it's not the most compact.
It's a large fish tank style case with glass panels and a dual chamber layout. As the name suggests, the case features 1.33 meter long ARGB LED light bars stretching across the sides. Really? It's 3 feet? It's a 1.3 meter long RGB panel? That is it really?
I think around all the sides, maybe.
Is it all the way around? Plenty of space to accommodate up to 360 millimeter radiators. No, it's huge. Yeah. This thing is big. Okay, so Thermaltake TR100. This is a small case too. Yeah, I don't know. It says the mini ITX case definitely grabbed everyone's attention, so it's smaller. Notably, it's being touted as a travel PC case, and Thermaltake is even offering a special luggage case accessory for the particular case if someone who cannot travel without their PC. So this is a pretty tiny motherboard, but it looks pretty nice. It can handle a 280 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler on the top of it. So essentially 2 120 millimeter case fans, which is the standard. You know how we joke about Chinese surveillance balloon buses?
Oh, right. Yeah, school bus units of measurement.
Yeah, when you talk to somebody about computers and you say that it can handle 360, a standard case fan is 120 millimeters. So you say 3 of them, you know exactly how long the case is. Let's see here. What else? Corsair Corsair 900D Airflow. We're running a little long today, if you don't mind.
No, not at all.
So the Airflow one, look at all the cabling on this thing. This is all water cooling, ins and out ports, so that all the water flows through from one place to another. This looks like there's no more pictures. I want more pictures. Anyway, this thing is called Airflow, but it's nothing but water cooled. All of this is water.
Yeah, it's an odd name.
Water. Yeah. If anything is a fish tank, it's this. This thing has more water in it than a fish tank. It's pretty neat, though. Keeps everything quiet. Ample support for storage, 11 slots. Yeah. Look, if you're putting 11 slots of storage in this device, you might as well order network attached.
Like maybe you need another... Oh,
no.
Right.
Just get a NAS, and then it's a little bit more manageable. Everything can be remote. You just keep what is local here fast and reliable. You don't need to put everything on your main. Anyway, it says it can hold up to 6 SSDs on the back of it. Double doors at the back that hide all the cabling can hold up to 6 SSDs. Yeesh. And then this looks like a tiny little case too. Yeah, it is a mini ITX. That one actually is kind of cute. Thermaltake is offering the Tower 250 with 2 pre-installed CT120 fans with a total fan capacity of 8, as well as up to 360 millimeter radiator mounting on the right side. So actually, this is pretty big. But the motherboard is this little tiny thing inside. So there's a lot of bulk to support all of the infrastructure that's keeping it cool. Like the previous generation, the 200, yeah, like the previous generation, the 250 can also fit large graphic cards in a vertical orientation on the left side. So instead of it laying horizontally, there's an adapter that stands it up on the side. So in terms of colors, there are plenty, including black, snow, matcha green, and hydrangea blue. Notably, Thermaltake says on its website that the case will only support SFX power supplies, which is a departure from the earlier model that allowed for full ATX PSUs. So it's a different shape. The company will be offering the case with an optional LCD screen kit and chassis stand that allows horizontal orientation of the case.
So is blue like the new color for PC cases? Because at least 2 were mentioned that they had kind of this light blue.
I wouldn't say blue, I would say color. Yeah, usually it's black or white or a shade of gray or but now and usually when you fall off of that, either black or white, or some shade of gray, as soon as you fall off of that, it gets expensive. So particularly if you want high quality, because they anodize it or they powder coat it, and yeah, like me, I don't really care what it looks like. A predominant number of people don't give a shit. They just want a case that functions well. The worst thing is when you buy like a mass-produced computer. I'm starting to realize, like, if I do want a case, I want a high quality case. Because when things go wonky, they go catastrophically wonky, and that's when you notice, oh, this case is...
Things like the configuration are out of whack, or it's inaccessible.
Yeah, the worst possible thing is to notice the flaw, because then when you go to fix the flaw, you go, oh God, there's another one. Oh God, there's another one. So, and I usually just buy my devices pre-made because I don't have time to sit there and build it from scratch. So, but I don't know. Just pay more for a quality device if you can. If you can't, then be ready for headaches. Anyway, I really like a lot of these cases. So. All right, we have one more article for today, and then we're going to call it for the night. This next article is over in Technology Today, the best gaming gifts for dads for Father's Day. This article is over at Engadget. Devendra Hardawar and Jeff Dunn put the article together, and I'll go through this really quick. There's actually 9 of these. Like 8-Bit Do, Ultimate Bluetooth Controller. I love everything that 8-Bit does. I don't know why. It's just this kitschy stuff, but it's a lot of fun. Valve Steam Deck. I am holding off on getting one one but I really do want a mobile PC. I have my own little embargo on Nintendo stuff, so because I don't like how Nintendo treats content creators. Maybe it's just me and I have it misinterpreted, but yeah. So I'm looking for PC side of things, and I'm not really into consoles. So I want to be able to play everything in my Steam library, and you can do that with the Valve Steam Deck. Well, for the most part. Then Game Console 2.0, a photographic history from Atari all the way up until whatever. It's actually a book. So, and then Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, a 3-month membership, which is great as a tease, but they probably already have it. And dads who have Xbox will probably go thanks. But they know that they're paying the bill anyway.
Exactly. Well, that is the problem with things like Father's Day or Mother's Day gifts.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want my kid to get me a membership because I'm already getting it, I'm pretty sure. Keep your money. If you happen to, like, I don't know, draw me a picture. SteelSeries, Arctics. I wouldn't, again, these are more for like dads actually spending on themselves to get this for Father's Day. SteelSeries wireless headset, awesome. It's an awesome pick. SteelSeries is really nice. But I want small, so I don't use a wire. I don't use a headset like this when I'm gaming or streaming. I've got in-ear monitors and a mic that's right here. But if I am listening to like my iPad or something like that, then these would be great. Otherwise, I'm using speakers because I don't want it on my head. But not everybody can blast their speakers without waking up somebody late at night. So these are actually really nice. And if I recall correctly, you know what? Let me make sure. It's the last show for the night, so might as well. I want to make sure of something because I think that these can swap out the batteries without having to actually turn them off. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure anymore. Doggone it. I can't do this live. Sorry. So Grid Studio Artwork, if you've got like a gaming dad, then this is actually pretty cool. Basically, they've dissected a piece of equipment.
Oh, like old tech or something.
Gadget.
I think I've seen this, yes.
They deconstruct it and mount it, and then that's what you get. You get to see the innards of it. The Razer Basilisk is a mouse. It's $50. I am anti-mouse. I use a trackball. I actually use 2 of these right here. One for each computer. And it's interesting because sometimes I grab the wrong one. It's goofy, but anyway, I don't like...
So how does that work? You're like, geez, this thing is not cooperating today.
Yeah. I go, where's my damn mouse? So the problem that I have with mice is that I don't want to have a big pad where I have to, and you can tighten it up so it's shorter twitch type of movements, but then every little beep, fart, and whistle that you do sends your mouse going all over the screen, and I'm sure somebody is gonna send me a message saying get good, but anyway, but they're like all of these I want, depending on what the artwork is, I would love it. As a gift, I would love whatever is sent to me. But I tell people don't get me gifts because everything that I want, I just get myself, and I'd rather you save your money and enjoy it. Take me out to dinner if you want to, or whatever, depending on who it is. Now, the thing that I really want in all of this is a little micro player mini arcade. It is a little...
Hey, that looks really cute.
A little mini arcade cabinet. It seems like a lot of fun. And then the icing on the cake is I actually saw some of the games that are in the Panic Playdate, and I want the Panic Playdate. 300,000 of these were stolen and then miraculously found in the parking lot of some rando restaurant. And so they're back on the store because ta-da, you can buy them. So Panic Playdate, $200 and you can get it. So this thing has 50 games in it, I think it is, right? So let me make sure. Hold on one second. Panic Playdate. Dun, 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 dun. How many games are in it? Hold on. How many games does Playdate have? 24. Okay, so Playdate comes with a season of 24 amazing games from developers big and small, delivered 2 per week. And the thing about this is it's basically like a 1-bit display. It's just grayscale, and you have to crank the handle sometimes to do something or push buttons, and it has a 4 directional controller on it. And so it's kind of like a little console game, and I kind of dig it. So, and I want to see what these games are like, but I don't know, $200, save your money. But nonetheless, I want a lot of these things. Backbone 1 is another of the handhelds, and the Zen Grip Pro Gen 3. I don't really play these, so I don't really, want those, but there you have it. Ta-da! Out of all of these,
there's a lot of items in here.
The Miu Mini Plus. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here for dads. If you've got a gaming dad, so go and get them. All right, well, that's it for tonight's Wanted. Warcrafters is going to be postponed until tomorrow. I'll get in the time machine and I'll do that episode. Everything is ready, but we're running really late, and the mayor has mayoral duties to attend to, so we're gonna gift wrap ourselves back to the front page and mash that Wanted just to see if something new came in the last... Nope, not yet. But that's okay. It's a Saturday night. Maybe the bot is off. The aggregator is not aggregating. Okay, well, that's it. Thanks for hanging out for an hour and 20 minutes now. I am Mayor Watt, and above is the sentient AI from the future that did not keep me on task.
It's hard to during Wanted. Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Wanted. We will see you soon for an episode of Warcrafters.
Yeah, so tomorrow I am going to be not just going over the news throughout the day. I'll be talking about the gaming showcases. I'll try to make up for the 2 that I missed since the showcases started on Friday. And like Devolver and the Future Games showcase. But I'm also going to do the Warcrafters show before we do another ohmTown Daily News show, then the Continuity Report, then Technology Today, and then 4-Wheel Tech. All of those shows are Sunday shows, so I'll see you tomorrow. Be sure to follow us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/ohmTown. Go over to YouTube, follow us there. All of the shows will be listed on YouTube tomorrow as well, and there is the podcast also. I'll be moving all of the shows that we've done over to the podcast as well tomorrow. So lots of work ahead for Mayor Watt. See you in a bit. Bye-bye. You can't do that.
You mean wave at you?
Yeah. You can't wave at me. There's no way to. Okay. See you, everybody. Bye-bye.